Hi, I'm Joanna. Welcome to my channel. This is my 21st video. Today I'm going to review 4 books, 3 fiction, 1 nonfiction. Let's get started. The first novel is The Summer That Changed Everything by Brenda Novak. So the setting takes place in a beach town in Virginia, and the premise is interesting. There are 3 murders that happen on a particular night. 2 of the victims are an older married couple that were very well liked throughout the community, and the other was a teenage girl, and this affected the town, it just devastated the town naturally. The main character is Lucy. She was a teenage girl during the time of the murders, and her father actually was convicted for the 3 murders and has been in prison for 15 years now. So Lucy was left by herself without any family. The town turns on her and she removes herself from the town, but she comes back 15 years later. Again, when she returns, she is not well received by the town. They do not like the memory of what happened, and then there's a mystery there. And that's really why she's back. She wants to solve some of the mystery surrounding those murders. So she is befriended by a past boyfriend who is resolved to help her. And, some of the townspeople are warming up to her. She is strongly discouraged by the authorities to stop pursuing because they do not want her to continue to investigate this closed case. The novel kept me on a winding road questioning who done it, who actually committed these murders, and the end was satisfying. But honestly, this author's prose didn't move me. It misses the richness of that sentence structure that lends to a fantastic novel. The author is popular and prolific. She has written over 50 books. I can see this as a great Lifetime movie, but as a novel, I was anxious to finish it. I give this 3 stars. Book number 2, The Listeners by Maggie Stiefvater. This author is an American author. She's from West Virginia, and that is where the setting takes place in her novel. She typically writes young adult fiction, and this is her first adult fiction. Again, the setting is in West Virginia, and there is the Avalon Hotel, a very luxurious hotel nestled in the hills there, and what it's known for is not only its luxury, but there are spas there, I think 4 of them. The spas are known as Sweetwater, and they seem to be a panacea or a cure-all for all sorts of ailments, but on the other hand, these spas remember things. So the time is 1942, the beginning of World War II, and the main character is June Hudson. She is the GM of the hotel, which is nice because back in 1942, that's a rare position for a woman. So June works for the Guilfoyles, who are the wealthy owners of the hotel. So the Guilfoyles have made an agreement with the State Department to house the diplomats, the German diplomats that are in the U.S., in the hotel. And June is, having to cater to these Germans. So the undertones of war are always present. Another character is Tucker Mennick. He works for the FBI. He's also lives in the hotel for now, and there's a slow burn romance between June and Tucker, which is kind of nice in the novel. There's a lot going on in the hotel at the beginning of the book. I got a little lost. And then at the end of the book, I started to really enjoy it. But that was the last few chapters of the book. It has a good ending. I like the way the author brings everything to a close, and the quality of writing is good too. Now, I listened to this novel on audio, and I really believe that had I read it, I would have enjoyed it a little more. Because I didn't get into the book, until the few chapters at the end, it wasn't enjoyable for me. This novel has rave reviews, but in my opinion, I give it 3 stars. Novel number 3, What Kind of Paradise by Janelle Brown. If you haven't read anything by Janelle Brown, try this one. I believe you will be completely absorbed because her prose are moving and vivid. She is from San Francisco, a Berkeley grad, and she is a gifted writer. In this novel, the setting is in Montana for the early part of the book. The main character is Jane, also known as Esme, and she and her father lived in Montana for, 14 years or so off the grid. And Jane was homeschooled by her father and pretty isolated, didn't have any friends, etc. So as Esme got older, she became more curious about her past. And she would ask her father, but he would give her very little information, all but telling her her mom was from San Francisco or the Silicon Valley, and she died in a car crash. So when Esme is 17 years old, she convinces her father to take her into town with him, and he does. But now she is implicated in a crime. So then the second part of the novel takes us to the Silicon Valley, where Jane is determined to find answers about her father and about her mother. It seems it's always about parenting. These 2 parents were extremely intelligent, almost robotic, and Jane didn't have much of a chance. It is a sweet story of a woman who is vulnerable yet strong and brilliant. The author captivated me again with her prose, and the ending was unconventional but very satisfying. I love this novel. I love the way it is written. I give this 5 stars. Book number 4, my nonfiction book, Yoko, a biography by David Sheff. The author takes us through Yoko's childhood. She came from a very wealthy and privileged family and upbringing, but she also suffered isolation and extreme loneliness and tragedy, extreme hunger as a child. And so we see her exterior as aloof, but it may even be self-preservation of some kind. The author talks a lot about her personal character. She often falls deep into thought, and then when she acts out on her thoughts, she seems to forget that she's in a society. I mean, she seems to shock society quite a bit, but the author kind of takes you through her personality, and then you kind of understand where she's coming from. And it does make sense. Although, we have norms for a reason. They're not always all bad. I think mainly that we can, live in harmony together. But I appreciate, Yoko so much more for not being anybody but herself. I don't think she can, even if she wanted to. I do marvel at that. So the author also writes extensively on Yoko and John Lennon's relationship. It seems like they really were meant to be together. Otherwise, they may have spiraled down into self-destruction, both of them. So they were a saving grace for each other, so it seems. We also get a sense of what it was like for Yoko after the death of John Lennon. He talks about motherhood and how it was difficult for her personality, her person, to be a mother. But she did love her children. She was that kind of personality, so abstract, so artistic. Her perceptions are unusual, just non-conventional. The author also shows us some of her flaws and weaknesses, but ultimately he paints a softer picture of Yoko Ono. I really enjoyed this ride. I love the way he wrote. I believe it was authentic and honest. I give this 5 stars.